And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Live with Yana live stream. And tonight's topic is how to transition your career from delivery to product management. Thank you so much for finding some time this evening to join our live discussion. Please make sure to introduce yourselves in the comments. Let us know what you do and join our conversation with your comments and questions. Especially let us know if you're working at the moment in the product or delivery management. So if you're new to my live show, I'm Yana Martins, and I've recently started my journey as IT recruiter. Hence, I've started a new YouTube channel dedicated to IT career in Australia. So tonight, we're going to talk about how to transition your career from delivery to product management. And Mayase is going to share her journey when she, after 7.5 years in delivery management, she made the career move to product management. So a pretty inspirational story with real life examples and obviously incredibly relevant topic for those who are thinking about, similar shift in their career. So please make sure to tag and share your colleagues or friends who might need to hear this and thinking about this transition. So before I'll pass it on to Mayase to introduce herself, I just want to quickly remind you that we're going live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So if you want to watch replay, subscribe to my YouTube channel, IT Career in Australia. I'm going there live every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Melbourne time. And we talk with various experts from my network about things like IT career, job search, and specifics of IT industry in Australia. So you can join also my meetup group and make sure you get notifications about upcoming discussion. And we will try to answer all your questions from all the platforms, but please stay on the topic. Topic is about, transitioning from delivery to product management today. And if you asking interesting questions, you might even get a nice surprise at the end of the stream. So that's probably enough of me here. Alex is saying hi. I'm working as a BA and Scrum Master on the delivery side. Excited for the session. Thank you, Alex, for joining us. Everyone else, please make sure to say hi because it's exciting for us as well. And you're saying hi, we know who's here. And I'm passing it to Mayase to introduce yourself, please.
Oh, great. Really excited to be here, Yana. And hi, everyone. Such a lovely evening to join you. I know in Melbourne there's a bit of sun, so we're having like a really good day, but really excited to be part of this conversation. So I'm Mayase. I am a product owner at Xero currently. And as Yana mentioned, I transitioned into my product owner role in the last couple of months after years being in delivery management. So I'm really excited to share this. And like Alex, I started off as a business analyst and Scrum Master and iteration manager. So really excited to kind of talk about my journey so far. And yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait to share all the gems.
Perfect. I guess if you can just maybe start with just, like a little overview of your journey and, just give us the brief story before we dig into all the details.
Great. There's no brief. It's all long. No. So I like to call myself a human-centered technologist because I think what I've learned in my career is really technology is more than just about the technology itself, the exciting things that you're doing, but it's very much about us as humans and being at the center of every problem that we're trying to solve through technology. But I started off my career after university as a service desk engineer. So I was one of those people you'd call if your Microsoft crashes, you'd call me. If your computer crashes, you'd call me. And I would be like, oh, have you tried turning it on and off again? So yeah, my career started off
as the story of any receptionist in any organization. Can you please turn it off and off again?
No matter. Yeah, like just press the button. Fixes everything. That's all it does. Yeah, so that's where I started. And I feel like even in my role right now as a product owner, for me, it's always been about problem solving. So service desk engineering is also about problem solving. So from there, I moved into consulting. So I worked for a consultant company, ThoughtWorks, and I started there as a business analyst. I was a business analyst and then moved on to start doing things like iteration management and Scrum Master, and then moved into engagement lead and delivery lead. These things are kind of like similar skill set in terms of like they're kind of like project management skill set. So when I say engagement lead, iteration management, Scrum Master, they might have variations, but it's a project management skill set. And then from there, I moved to Real Estate Australia, where I was a senior delivery lead. And towards the latter end of my time there, I was an acting delivery manager in platform. And then I moved into product ownership. So I'm a product manager at the moment. So it hasn't
And
been like, and this is over a couple of years, right? I say these roles, but this is over a couple of years that my transition has kind of like slowly gotten to where I am now.
and I guess, like, what did you learn on your journey? I think you have this like a funny slide here about, the agile team and project management.
Yes. I think a lot of project managers or people who do kind of project management roles, delivery leads, delivery managers, iteration managers, this. You're the person that people accuse that you're stealing off dev time. The dev should be coding and you want to do retrospectives. But I think for me, like my experience so much has been with working with agile teams. A lot of my career was doing agile transformation. And so really implementing, setting up agile in teams. So what I've learned through all of this is I'm kind of agnostic to the practice itself. So whether you're doing Scrum, you're doing XP, you're doing Kanban, whatever it is that you mentioned, right? The important thing for me in software development is the perspective. And I really lean a lot on agile mindset, lean mindset, because it gives us an opportunity as a team to think about how we can do continuous improvement. Like, how do we change our practices? How do we change our processes? How do we experiment a lot? And the mindset for me matters more than the fact that you have stand up every day. You can have stand up every day and still not have throughput of work going through. So when you have a mindset that really understands what those things are, that's the most important thing. And that's what you bring to every role. Every role bring that mindset.
Yeah, 100%. But okay, let's I guess have a quick look. Before we talk about the transition, let's have a quick look in terms of what sort of roles actually, I guess, exist in delivery and the product management, and I guess what's the main difference. So I guess that's like based on agile methodology.
Yeah. And these are just they're not a full list. I just thought, just a branch so that people can understand when we say delivery management, what are those roles? So business analysts, delivery leads, project managers, iteration managers, delivery managers. And again, these will have like different level of responsibilities. But when you're thinking about delivery management, execution of the delivery, these are the roles that do that. And then on the other side, when you think about product management, you are thinking about product owners, product managers, product leads. There's also product marketing managers, which are so kind of like an interesting role. But these are then thinking about the start part of, in most organizations, they're the ones who are going to come in and say, this is the thing that we need to build. This is the product, this is the feature, and this is what we need to do. And so product management, you are doing the more kind of like, this is what we need to do. This is why we need to do it. Delivery, people are focused on when can we do it? How can we do it? What's the solution that's going to solve this problem?
And I
And I
guess,
thought,
is it here? Here we go. That's the one.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
solution. Yes.
Yeah, I thought as well. I think for me, the transition has been very, um, uh, how can I put it? I won't say easier, but let me use that word. Let me say it's been a lot easier because you already work in an agile team. So you already know, you've already worked with a product owner before if you're a delivery lead, and you know at a high level what do they do in their role. And so when you're kind of like thinking about transitioning, it's a lot easier because there are already some things that are similar and that you've already seen between the roles. So I think it's a lot easier to transition because you already are in the ecosystem and you already know at a high level what the other side does.
And I guess we want to ask the audience as well. I think we have a few slides here as well about the delivery management and product management responsibilities. And we would be curious to know, guys, in your organization, is it, do you have a similar responsibilities if you work in delivery, or if similar responsibilities if you work in product management? So there's a few things, I guess, that Mayase listed here as a delivery management responsibilities. Would you like, give us a brief overview of this?
Yeah, so like I was saying, this is your advantage. But I think in the main kind of like there's definitely a lot more skills in there. But if I put like the core buckets of what you're doing when you're doing delivery management, you're really thinking about execution. Like if you cannot draw up a release or a delivery map and tell the stakeholders when you're going to build this thing, there's a problem, right? So it's a very much execution. It's a very much execution of deliverables role. So you kind of like timelines, working priorities. In some aspects, capacity planning is very important. Do you have the right roles? Do you have the right skill sets? So you can build up when you're going to do this budgeting. And it's very much about the team. You need to have a good team that's working efficiently. Otherwise, you can't produce anything, right? Product does not go out without healthy engineers doing the work. So those are the main things. And then there's the bit around communication and making sure your stakeholders are on board, making sure everybody knows how you're progressing, you're reporting. And if there's some change management there, kind of being on top of what needs to change and who needs to support the change that you're going out. And obviously, you're not doing all these things by yourself, but really, delivery is execution. This is the thing that we need to get out. How do you get it out? When do you get it out?
Yeah, as obviously you mentioned here, yes. So how and when the responsibilities of the delivery team, and and I guess a little bit about the product management here as well.
Yeah, so this has been like one of the things in terms of me moving into product management that I have had to deal with is ambiguity. I didn't know how much product management is filled with ambiguity, right? Especially depending on where your product is. But the core things that you're doing is really, you need to know the customer, because if you don't know the customer, you don't know who you're serving, what problem you're trying to serve. So product owners or product management is very much, you're doing vision, missions, you're doing success criteria. So you're drawing up some metrics, customer journeys. People know a lot about that for product management. And also, who's your competition? How are you going to make sure you have that unique advantage over them? So you need to understand the customer, core to what product management is, as well as knowing the business. And sometimes you need to balance the two, because what the customer value is and what the business value is may clash. So you need to align. But really, what is the organization strategy? how are you supporting that strategy moving forward? If there are specific metrics, how are you and the product that you're doing moving those metrics? So it's really understanding what is the strategy, how is it being driven, and how is the work that you're doing in your product giving value to that business strategy. And then there's also, you need to collaborate with the team. I think what you found is sometimes in the old days, I want to say this doesn't happen now, even though it does. It does. In the old days, you just have like, here's your requirements, bye. You know, that doesn't work anymore, right? As a product manager, you need to be there collaborating with engineers, collaborating with designers, collaborating with architects, so that you kind of building the best results technically, business wise, for the customer, bringing that value together. So what I like the most about product, and not to be so religious, but what I like the most is I feel like it's a really good balance. It brings in the business and it brings in the technology. And if you're going to be like a really great product manager, for me, the great product managers are the people who can hold both those things, the priorities for the business, the priorities for tech, find a middle ground. And that's what you kind of prioritize and work through that. Not just like, we're just doing tech stuff or we're just doing business stuff. It's a balance of the two. And that's where you get great product management.
And I guess you greatly summarize it here as well, where, you know, the delivery management and product management, they have the same goal at the end of the day, but they're just looking at this goal from like a different perspective. And you need to maybe like concentrate on the different aspects of this, you know, the delivery journey.
Yeah. And I think that's where I was saying that that's the easy bit, because you already have that similarity. So in terms of planning, if you're a delivery lead, you're looking at capacity planning, you're looking at, okay, this is what we need to release. What is the release plan or the delivery plan for that? When you're in planning meetings, you're kind of like, okay, this is what we can do. We can do these 10 stories. We can't do the rest given the capacity that we have. When you move to the product side, you move to setting the priorities. You need to work with the team and say, these are the things, my top priorities are 1, 2, 3. What can you do? Okay, in this iteration, we can only do 1 and 2. So you're on the other side, you're setting the priorities. In terms of things like scope management, you on the product side are breaking down milestones. You're working with the team. If they come back and say, actually, this solution is going to take us this long, you start asking questions. Can we do something differently? What can we remove? On the delivery end of things, you're making sure scope creep does not happen. We all know how developers love to gold plate their solutions, but it's just, you know, making sure the team is focused on the priorities, making sure the work is estimated so you can have an idea of the effort, which helps you have an idea of when this thing can be done. So in my head, you're already doing some of these things. You're just moving to the other side of the fence and you do them differently. And I think one of the core ones as well is stakeholder management. Like stakeholder management is key to both of these roles. If you don't have buy-in from your execs as a product, you're not going to get the support that you need. You're not going to get the value out there. They're going to fund something else and you're going to be elsewhere. So again, you know, you need to manage your stakeholders, make sure you can show the value, you can show the feedback, and you can help them understand the journey that the product is on. And on the other side, you're tracking progress as a delivery person and you're reporting on it. When you see a risk that's going to affect your timelines, you're negotiating with your stakeholders. So I think one of the key things on both sides of the fence is stakeholder management. So like I said earlier, you're already winning because you're still doing some things just at a different angle, and you just need to switch them when you go into product and do the same thing in a different space.
Orion has a quick comment here. Agree with everything so far on delivery. I add removing blockers for the team as well. And kind of a state building team culture, it's a key. I guess, thank you for your comment, Orion. Whoever is listening to us as well, and maybe you work in the product, please let us know as well if you feel the same way in terms of your responsibilities as a product manager. Is it similar in your organization, or you feel like, maybe it's some difference? Because in some organization, the same role doing completely different things. So would love to hear your comments around this as well, guys. And obviously, if you have any questions so far, please pop it in the comments as well. But I think that's been a really great summary, Mayase, regarding, the similarities and the difference. So, but okay, so now where do you start? Like, how did you start? Like, firstly, how did you make this decision that you want to move to, product management after being for quite some time in delivery management? So what was this turning point for you?
Yeah, it's also been a turning point that's been a number of years coming. I will say that probably started thinking about moving to product management, maybe, let me say, probably about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was at the back of my head that this is a career transition that I wanted. But the reason I kind of moved, or that this kind of seed was planted that I needed to do product management, is in my consulting days. And you gotta love consulting. I think that the best work that I've done has been in consulting. Excuse me. And a lot of lessons learned in consulting. But in my consulting days, I used to just feel as if we were just given work, right? We were just given, here, this is the thing, you need to build it. And you need to build it before grand final day, because we have a marketing campaign coming out on grand final day. And so now we just start flapping around to release this thing by grand final day, because marketing campaign has already been put out.
Announced.
So this product needs to go out. Yeah. And
it's already been announced before you even start building it. Yeah.
You're but do you know what's the effort in building this? We have 3 months. What you're asking for is a lot. We're not going to get it. And so now you start working backwards, because now you're cut this. No, don't do this, don't do that, because we cannot move. That date is not movable. And so I really felt as if a lot of those decisions were based either on something that was somebody's KPI. There was an executive manager who had a KPI that they should release 100 things. And now we need to release 100 things. There's also the other one where it's everything needs to go out before the 30th of June, end of financial year, because budget is running out. Go build all these things. Money is going to run out. Okay.
Yep.
So I was I really don't understand how we're making these decisions. I want to be able to influence these decisions, and for us to really be strategic about how we take things out. And so I was frustrated. The move was coming from frustration, because I just felt as if we were being given these things to do, and it was not clear about why we were doing them and what value they were bringing. Not saying there isn't value in the feature that's going out. There is. But if you're going to say we need to do this by this because the marketing campaign has gone out, we actually don't even know if this is the right need, right? Because you've already given us a solution that needs to go out. You haven't given us time to actually say, what is the problem? Let's understand the problem and then work out the solution for the problem. So it was basically frustration.
I like this example, coming from frustration. There is a saying that, the biggest void creates the highest social value. Usually, if it's, there's any void in us, we go and actually get it. So I think it makes total sense that it's come from a frustration, and you feel like you want to put this fill this gap with like maybe like I guess a little bit of gap here with like this miscommunication, why and what and when and how, just pretty much bringing it together.
Yeah, it's like, we know what the what is, but you haven't told us why and what value is going to come in. You've just given us this, and now you're on our backs for us to get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. When are you going to get it done? When are you going to get it done? And so that frustration made me really think about, I want to be involved in the strategic thinking about what we do now and what we do next. I want to be able to help decide that, and then also nurture how it's then executed. Because I'm already good at execution. That's what we do in delivery. We're great at execution. So then my core skill that I wanted to grow was strategy. So then I was like, grow a skill in strategy, fix your frustration. Hey, move to product.
And we have a few comments actually before we jump in. Hilda is saying, I'm a BA, but doing the what and why as well, which is the product management role. The role of product owner at my organization is not clearly defined.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is Hilda. That is the main core problem. I won't say problem. Like I actually have seen this a lot, and even in my current role, when I joined product at Zero, I then really started to understand that product culture is quite different. There's some roles that are said to be like, oh, this is a BA role, but they do product. And some roles that are like, oh, this is a product role, but the main core thing that they're doing is business analysis. I do feel like the industry has moved, and to a point, maybe BAs one day will just be product owners and there'll be no BAs. Sorry, Hilda, but that might be in the future. Because like you said, you're already doing some of that work. And some companies don't differentiate between like product management, like a product owner role and a BA role, which is a challenge. And I think if you're transitioning, be clear about what your role is, talk to the company that you're going to be moving to, and understand that, because that's going to bring you frustration. If you move to a product role and then you just start finding that you're just doing BA work, you're going to be frustrated. So understanding like the different role expectations is quite important.
And I think from recruitment point, we've seen it as well, where some companies, they're looking for like a product owner, but it's like almost like a BA responsibilities and a job description, and vice versa. It could be, BA position, but you're already doing the product. It definitely varies from the company to company. So I guess it's one thing to keep in mind, especially even when you do your resume. Do you put like BA there or product owner, or like make sure you maybe put both and mention that you're doing those responsibilities as well. So it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, and actually good point there in terms of like, if you're a BA and you're doing product owner, that's your opportunity. Make sure if you want to move to product ownership, you can transition out because you're already doing some of that work.
Alex, have a question for you. Do you feel like you have an advantage over others in similar position because you moved from delivery into the product? And if so, why?
Yeah. I want to say the advantage that I have is the fact that I've worked with agile teams, and I've already kind of know at a higher level what product managers were doing. And I used to have all these conversations with my product managers before, and I'm like, so what are you thinking about this? Tell me a little bit about what you're doing. So I think for me, the advantage was I had already built some relationships and I understood a lot of what they were doing. And then I could also relate. I used to think about, so if you're thinking about like the product manager interview, and they're going to ask you about collaboration, they're going to ask you about prioritization. What is it that you're doing in delivery that focuses on those things? So being able to relate the skill set that you have and the things that you're doing to what is needed on the other side. It won't be like, oh, I was talking to customers, because you were not talking to customers, right? But you were talking to your delivery team, you were talking to your engineers, you implemented some changes in the practices or in the process that you were having in your team. That is your customer. So you can kind of like flip that when you're giving an example of this is how I was doing and this is how I was prioritizing what was happening in the team. So just think about what is it that is needed as a product manager? What is it that you're doing now that you can then swap over as examples if you were having an interview?
Yeah, 100%. And I guess we're coming back to, your example about maybe just looking from a different perspective about, this why we did it and not how we did it. That will help you to answer those questions. The few people saying hi, Jason is here. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Devendra is here from joining us from India as well. So I guess, so we already start talking about, this kind of your tips and what helped you to transition to the product management. I think we have a quick, slide here as well, where you share some of your, for some of the things you've done.
Yes. And I think of yourself as you already have some capacity, some capability, but it's mainly thinking about one, what is the gap, and being honest about what your gap is. For me, my gap was very much strategy. So if I'm going to go into an interview and talk about those things, definitely I'm going to kind of say, these are the things that I've done strategically, but this is where I need to grow. But on an overall, do your research. I think product is very much about what problem are you trying to solve and what value are you going to bring. So what products do you like? What organizations are doing things that you like? What problems are they solving? A couple of months ago, I was reading through some stuff and I saw that Facebook, Meta now, I'll just say Facebook. Because this was when there was still Facebook when I was reading this. They were not Meta, but Facebook during COVID was doing this thing where they were giving small businesses, minority small businesses, they were buying their invoices. So if a small business and invoices that haven't been paid, Facebook would go and pay for those invoices, and then it's kind of like Facebook holds that money from the clients. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. What problem are they trying to solve, right? Small businesses we know has been crushed during COVID. They've been closed and so many challenges. So for them to get some cash flow to keep their business growing, that's a problem that you're solving. You're helping the small business, you're helping community. And so I thought about that. And then afterwards, I was like, what is in this? There's a future where Facebook is going to have a financial service. They're testing something out here, right? They're not just doing this out of the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah, the goodwill.
Yeah, it's not goodwill. So really think about like every product that you see, think about it that way. What problem are they trying to solve? And what else is it going to bring in the future? Being curious about those things is quite important. And like I say, talk to all the product people in different companies doing product differently, because that's when you get to understand that, in this area, they say they're doing this company, they say they're doing product, but how they do it, the culture there, I actually don't like it. I want to do a lot of experimentation. They don't do experimentation. Let me focus on another organization. So talk to different product people, let them hear what they're doing. And also not just people who are doing like front-facing UI, nice looking products and services, but even back-end platform product ownership is quite important because it teaches you a lot about how systems work. So, talk to different product owners, join some product networks. There's lots. There's Product Anonymous, Product Tank. Mind the Product is one that I love. I love all the content that they bring up. What that does, aside from connecting you to other product owners, what that does is people publish all the different products that they're doing, all the different problems that they're trying to solve. So it gets you into that mindset of thinking about value and thinking about problems, because this is what you are now. You're in the problem space. So helping to kind of like really think about those things and getting visibility on that. And like I said as well, like use your current skills, right? Like I had one of my teams was we were kind of like thinking about throughput. I noticed that this was when I was still a delivery lead, that our throughput was not going, cards were sitting on the wall for a while. And what I realized was like devs would come in and just be like, please review my PR. Please review my PR. No one was, not saying they weren't, but it would take like a day or 2 days before somebody would come in and review somebody else's pull request. And that meant it's a day or two that we've lost before something goes out into QA. And so I was like, hey, T, I think we have this challenge of things taking a while on the board, but I think you also have a challenge of nagging people. You know, so the devs were like, we feel as if we're always nagging others to do the pull requests. And I'm like, let's try this. Let's have a morning flow. When you come in the morning, first thing that you do, review a pull request. Before you start picking up a new card or before you continue with whatever work you were doing, do a review. And once that is done, go on with your work. Like every morning before you do it, do that. Let's try it for 2 iterations, see if that helps. If it doesn't, we kick it off, we try something else. If it does, we keep it. It's a new practice for this team. And so that to me, even though it's not rapid experimentation, that to me is experimentation, right? We were trying something, it ended up working. We evolved our practices so that we could solve this problem. So think about it that way. You hear these words, oh, prioritization, rapid experimentation, and you're like, oh, they're so scary. But actually, they're simple things that you can actually do even in your current role if you're a delivery manager.
Yeah, and it's a interchangeable examples, and basically you can bring from any industry. I guess I like that you mentioned, about the product, do the research of the product, because I guess when you're transitioning, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like my understanding, if the person transitioning from a delivery to product, they need to be at least a little bit passionate about product. I guess if you work in the delivery team, maybe you're not always that involved what you're actually producing, because I guess you're concentrating on delivering something. But if you work on the product side, you need to like your product more.
I like that.
At least something, you need to like about this product, because I imagine it wouldn't be a rewarding role if you're not enjoying the actual product.
Yeah. Bring up a really strong point. And also think about the challenge. Is this a product that's going to challenge you to think differently about things? Another thing that is interesting, that I found interesting, is it's important to think about the maturity of the product when you're doing your research. So there's, new products in maturity, products in decline. That life cycle of the product and when you join is quite important, because you need different skill sets to a point in those things. So for example, my role, it's a new product and it's still in pilot. The good thing about new products is we have no tech debt. We have no BAU support. It's all good in this world. We're just bring out the features, bring out the experiments. So I can, try and prioritize what experiments do we need to do, what features do we need to do, and it's all well. But to be honest, we're building tech debt. 3 years from now, when we have to support this product and all of that, when it's in growth and maturity, there is now that aspect of BAU support. And if you've worked in legacy systems or you've worked in mature products, they already have support. They bring a lot of revenue. It's a cash cow. So when you're doing prioritization, you're thinking about if there's a problem in the product, that needs to be fixed. If there are bugs in there, those need to be fixed. You're not going to be like, let's not let the customers use the product. Let's put in this new feature and let's try and experiment this. Something is broken in the cash cow, fix it, right? So the maturity of the product matters, because if it's a new product like I'm in, there's a lot of ambiguity. We have assumptions about the market. We have assumptions about the customer problem that we're trying to solve. We don't know yet. We need to find that. And so as a product owner, I need to be very clear about what do I need to test, what hypothesis, what assumptions, because we're testing. If you're in a mature product, you have to balance the fact that you will not have the highest percentage of time to be building new features. You need to support the product and do some caring for it. So if you're a new product owner, where you jump into, you might have different challenges and different opportunities. To be honest, if I think about it, I think about like, I should have just gone and joined a mature product.
So that brings us back to this point. Do the research.
Yes, do the research. Because like, I think it's a great opportunity. A new product is a great opportunity for me. But what it means is like, I need to learn double fast. Like, I need to be like on top of what is the market, what is the customer, and what do we need to release next. And sometimes, you know, we are in design sessions with the designers. They're taking me through the journey, the experience, and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know, because I haven't gotten the core of understanding my customer to be really comfortable to make a decision. And I rely, like, I have a great team, so I rely on my team to support me on those decisions. But to be honest, I don't know. We're still building the data, right? So whereas if you have a mature product, you already have facts, you already have data that you can research on, and so you can help kind of make those decisions a lot easier. So yeah, do your research. It really comes in handy because
So you feel like if you're transitioning to product owner position, it's probably beneficial to choose a mature product in the beginning to learn.
For me, it would have been. For me, it probably, because I wouldn't be, you know, and probably also, let me be honest, a lot of it might also be imposter syndrome, right? So it might just be me like really pushing myself to kind of like be all this excellence and understand and know the product, and I'm not yet there. But really, in a mature product, you have the advantage of having some data, some information that's already existing, and you already have like what's worked, what hasn't worked, some examples of that. So you can build on that. Whereas in a new product, you're making it, and, you know, not that there's any wrong decisions, but you need to have enough understanding of what problem you're solving.
I'm just cautious about the time, you know, when you have time flies just like this. So we already passed 40 minutes of the time, and we have a few more questions. Jason actually want to ask you a few questions. Let's, I guess, give him some answers to this one. Are there specific people management skills you've learned in delivery that help in the product role?
Yes. Oh, very much. I think the main thing is around collaboration. Like I was saying, you know, we're not in the olden days where as a product manager, you come in and you're like, here's the requirements, build it. This is what I'm doing. So for me, like being able to sit down with architects, being able to sit down with engineers and say, this is a problem. This is what I'm trying to solve. Give me your ideas. This is what I think. That is an important aspect. So being able to just work and collaborate with your team is core to what you're doing here. And then also when it comes to your when it comes to going up and doing stakeholder management, being able to just talk to people and let them understand the value and show your execs progress and what you're bringing back, that being able to influence up is core as well.
And the next question from Jason: are there things you miss about delivery?
Oh, yes, a lot. I miss not having the responsibility of making a decision about the priorities. Funny enough, I think one of the things that has really kind of taught me a lot about whether it's, software development in general is very much around, it's important to have a team that is working together and working together in alignment. And there are a couple of roles that bring that work team culture alignment. Delivery is core to that if you're in the delivery space. And so I miss that. I miss building the team culture, building the processes and practices that are around the team, because that's a main focus for delivery. And in products, I really don't have time. Somebody else can can look at that. I will support the team and be in the team, but somebody else can look at those team culture things. But yeah, I miss that part.
Who knows? Maybe you come back to delivery one day.
Oh my goodness, it is, right? Like it's all fluid. You can move between the two. I'll gain more skill set and move up.
As I said, we probably can talk for ages, but I'm always trying, to finish live stream at least before like 1 hour mark. So I think it's a time for the giveaway, Mayase. So I think we can give a little giveaway to, one of the person who joined our live stream and ask a few questions. Our usual giveaway, it's a 30 minutes, virtual coffee chat with our speaker. So I'll let you think about who's getting our giveaway today. And while you're thinking, I'll just let you guys know what we're doing next week. Next week, 24th of November, I'm going to speak with Rod, and we're going to talk about how to shift your career from software developer to Scrum Master. So another story, another like transition, especially, if you a software developer who's been thinking, to shift into more like a Scrum Master role, change your career. So definitely join us next Wednesday, 24th of November. And we're going to talk about this transition. And also, Rod going to share with you his challenges of transitioning from software developer, and also advantages like that gave him, some experience while he transitioned to those role. Mayase, do we have a winner for the giveaway?
I'm torn between Alex and Hilda, so you have to be the decider.
Are you happy to do two?
Yes.
Is it okay just to be nice and like we'll give two giveaways? Yeah.
Yes, definitely can do that.
Perfect. So Alex, Hilda, and Alex, you're watching us on YouTube. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll set up some chat with Mayase so you can get your free coffee chat and ask all the questions about the transitioning and career. So I'll connect you both. So guys, if you have one like little final questions, please let us know. Alex, here we go, sending some angels. Perfect. Thank you, Alex. And also, I always ask my speakers to finish the live stream with some inspirational quote. But you read my mind, I think, before I even ask you, because you already put it in your slide.
Yeah, I think ultimately, really, like when it comes to your career, it's very much about following your heart, and you can't go wrong, right? I don't think there are any wrong answers in wherever you take your career, as long as you know why you're doing it. And you also have like really good intentions, like you give it your all and you work out what's best for you. So, when you're doing your transition from execution to strategy, what is it that is exciting you? Again, it needs to excite you. If you're going to work on a product that is going to upset you, that doesn't solve world hunger. But if you're going to be in a product that doesn't excite you, that doesn't give you the capacity to think about different ideas and generate different ideas with your team, then probably rethink what you're doing. Everything starts from why are you doing it, and ultimately be happy about it. And there's no wrong answers. You can move from delivery to product, move from product to delivery, or maybe move from product to engineer, right? Like, I think the good
Why
thing about
not?
tech,
Why not?
yeah, so just do what's in your heart and do what aligns with your values. I really also think strongly join organizations that work strongly with where your values are at, because you learn a lot, you grow a lot in those spaces.
100%. Thank you, Mayase, for this great conversation today. And I guess I just want to share one example. When you mention about there is no right and wrong answers. I've been obviously talking with a few people who's looking for a change and looking for new jobs. And I chatted with people from Afterpay, yeah, and it's the same product, but there's like some people who would say, yeah, Afterpay is great. It helps people, buy the products that they, can't afford and things like this. But there's like other people who would say like, oh, like I don't want to work for Afterpay anymore because I feel like I make people to buy products they don't need.
Yeah.
So it's the same product, but it's your interpretation as well. So, and I think like it's actually really important, and it's really kind of coming, back to your quote, and there is no right and wrong answers. Someone will think that this is a great product. Someone will think like that's not for me. And it's exactly that. It's exactly just thinking what is good fit for you and what you want to do and what you think is right.
Yeah, and really, I'm very much about impact and value. As much as you need to give impact and value to the organizations that you work with, give impact and value to your soul. So if you think Afterpay is creating debt in people's lives, don't work for them. If you think they're solving people's financial problems, work with them. Yeah, definitely. Like follow whatever brings you value and always have impact, whether it's in your organization or in your career. Just think about, do the simple things, do them right.
100%. And as we said, follow your heart, it knows the way. Thank you so much again. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Good night, everyone. Thanks, Yana.